Hey everyone, it's Dr. Rick. I wanted to do a follow-up on the 1 meal a day attempt that I just went through. Tomorrow it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, 2019, November, and I had to lead a group to do a hike last Saturday, and that was also the time I was supposed to start the fasting mimicking diet. I wanted to do something called, and see my post down below for fasting mimicking diet. Excellent diet, life-changing if you ask me. And there are a lot of good diets that are out there and nutritional practices out there, but I didn't have time to break down the calorie counting and the macronutrient divisions. So I just decided, I did do a video on calorie counting if you are interested in doing it on your own with regards to the fasting mimicking diet. But I decided last minute, I just do 1 meal a day. It hopefully will put me into ketosis, hopefully cut down total calories per day severely, almost to the equal amount of what the fasting mimicking diet is on day 1, 1,750 on the ensuing days, and that's it. So I am now Wednesday, day 5, and I planned on finishing today so I can revel in tomorrow's Thanksgiving vegetarian dinner. But I didn't get anything out of it. So, I mean, waistline didn't change. I feel pretty pumped up. A couple of exercises I did really brought it on. And with a fasting mimicking diet, you're not supposed to exercise. And I can understand why. You don't want to really turn on muscle building. But my thing is, if you take the biggest benefit or the most easiest tangible thing that you can measure with a fasting mimicking diet, it's usually going to be ketosis. And I think insulin. So I didn't do it this time because I was going to do it today. I just didn't feel it. And this is my 5th round now. I can usually feel when I'm hitting ketosis. So I didn't feel ketosis. I still felt a little bloated. So I think that the value of that Prolon box is spectacular because it gives a low residual diet. It's a low residual makeup of food. Most of the pouches in the foods are powder except for 1 or 2 bars and maybe olives. So the possibility of having residual food go from stomach into small intestine is very low. And I think that's one of the things Longo counted on. If you decrease the signals going to the small intestine, then you'll probably decrease the signals going to the bacteria in the small intestine. You'll decrease the work that 23-foot tube has to do. Thus, you'll decrease the amount of energy needed to divert to the digestive tract. Yes, to absorb the fuel, you actually have to put fuel into the digestive tract so it can digest, and then it sucks out the fuel from the remnants of the food. So that very low residual diet that's made up in the Prolon box, I think is key. In addition to the ingredients in each of the bags of the individual boxes per day for 5 days, in addition to the total calories of 1,000 on day 1, 750 on the ensuing 2nd of the 5th days. So I think it puts people into a low insulin level by the 5th day. It puts people into, definitely white blood cell count goes into hibernation. Thyroid shuts down, and then your mTOR and pKa go down, but that's hard to measure. I think IGF-1, without getting into the weeds as far as tests for blood, should respond to that kind of stimulation of essentially a starvation environment. So if you can fool the body into thinking it's starvation, but yet not really cause starvation because it allows you to have a little tidbit throughout the day, I think number 1, that'll get the brain kind of satiated or at least satisfied so you don't get hangry. And that's what I think that's how I think he sold this concept to the cancer patients, because if you're going through cancer and chemotherapy, number 1, you have the pain from the cancer itself. Then 2, you have the ache and the side effects from the chemotherapy. So the original studies were on those patients, and you can't just do a water-only fast, so you had to give the patients a little bit, if they wanted to participate in the study, give them a little bit of food, give them a little bit of direction, but yet try to induce starvation. So that's what I think happens best. And with inducing starvation, you have ketosis. So my biggest thing with the 1 meal a day is to try to induce ketosis. And I think I did that, but it just wasn't the same. So I'm not tired. My third day of the fast mimicking diet, usually I am crashing by the third day and I'm really achy and I can't think and can't problem solve. I flew through these 5 days with ease. I tried to limit my one meal to the evening, and the evening I would usually have something. I'm a vegan, so I always have something that's plant-based, and that's about it. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I had coffee during the day. It just wasn't the same. Now, if I could keep this up, so here's the thing. If you're going to do 1 meal a day, if you keep it up past 5 days, then I think there might be beauty in that, but I'm not going to do that. Again, the deal breaker is prolonged fasting. I can't do. I do intermittent fasting, so I only eat with a feeding window of 12 noon to 8 p.m. That's doable. I can have time with my family. I don't need breakfast, and I think that induces a little bit of ketosis. I've tested my blood on doing that protocol. I get into like a 0.8 or a 1 as far as beta hydroxybutyrate. That's okay, but it does initiate something. So and insulin is 4, morning insulin. So I think that if I could maintain 1 meal a day kind of practice, then that's possible. I can certainly turn my 12 noon to 8 p.m. Intermittent fasting into 6 to 8 p.m., but I'm not going to. I just think that it's much easier to maintain intermittent fasting and then vegetarian and then blast once a month to maybe once every 2 months with fasting mimicking. I think that in the long run is easier to maintain, so compliance is good and sustainability is good. I think most of us can do that. Doing 1 meal a day for an indefinite amount of time, forget it. Doing a 5-day fast for a dovetail of 5 days, 15 days, 20 days, 25 days, impossible. I think that you have people tap out. So I think that people need to maintain something of a healthy diet. I think that instilling this fast push every once in a while will shake up the metabolism just to keep your metabolic rate on its toes. And also to maintain that every cell to be somewhat fat adapted. I'm going to probably buy a Prolon box because of Black Friday. Those of you, check out my website, Herbal 411, because I have a link somewhere that'll get you at least a lower price on the Prolon box for $199, I think. So it's cheaper by $50 than what you might find on Amazon. And I will continue doing it because I think it's just spectacular. So as far as 1 meal a day, thumbs down. As far as fast mimicking diet, makes me appreciate it so much more. And again, I think it's very convenient to take the box out, the Prolon box out, open up, take a box for day 1, open it, and just sit there in my clinic, go through the clinic hours, see patients, pick out a packet, make a little bit of soup, have it down, burp, done, and then go on to the next patient. And it's no thinking. It's a no-brainer, and it's already made for you. So you are paying for convenience. So those of you who say that's very expensive, it is very expensive. I think at the least you should do it when there's a change of season. That's twice a year in Chicago, but at the most once a month. And I kind of depends on what you're trying to do. If you're stuck at a body mass index of 30 or 30 and above, I'd do it every month. If you are hitting your body mass index, I haven't been at a waistline of 30 in a long time. I haven't had this kind of muscle responsiveness in a long time, and there's nothing else I'm doing different. So I'm going to embrace what I have been doing and hopefully continue it. And who knows, maybe in a year when I get maximum growth spurt and minimum fat, I might do something different, but that's too far ahead, a little bit at a time. But I'm going to be turning 60 in 3 years. So at that point in time, I know my testosterone is going to dwindle. So if I wait till the testosterone, and this goes for you late boomers, if you wait until the testosterone dwindles, it'll be much harder to start an exercise program. If you think that you're going to try to retire and then get your life in order and have fun, you're going to be spending all your time and money trying to take care of the medical disease that you ignored for about 2 decades. So I'd say start now while you have the energy to do so, while your hormones are still good. And you 20 to 30-year-olds, heed my warning that don't go too far off the reservation, because I mean the hormones will definitely help you burn up a lot of the crap that we exposed ourselves to earlier, and the hormones will get this brain functioning spectacularly well. But when you cut your sleep pattern, when you don't exercise, when you think you can get away with eating crappy food, it's going to catch up. You're going to see me one way or another, or my colleagues one way or another, and hopefully it's not in dire straits. Hopefully it's left for a screening wellness. And wellness is just that. You come in because you want to make sure you're well. Just because you don't feel suffering, pain, disease, or anything wrong, it does not mean the disease is not there. Truthfully, the likelihood is that all of us are going through cancerous changes. It's just the DNA can kind of scout, find the the precancerous cells and destroy. But the more crap, the more diseases that you have piled upon your immune system, the worse the immune system works. Another thing that the fasting mimicking diet does is it turns on stem cell. So those of you who have end organ damage already, not your 20 to 30-year-olds, but my 40, 50, and 60-year-olds, if you have a crappy liver, if you have cystic kidneys, if you have testicles that are shrinking, if you have ovaries that don't work, if you have a gut that doesn't work, if your brain is in brain fog, the fasting mimicking diet turns on starvation response, turns on stem cells, and then when you refeed yourself on the 6th to the 16th day, those stem cells blossom. Which is why, again, I think I've got this kind of responsiveness. It usually takes me a lot of work to get arms as defined as they are and get my shoulders as defined as they are. But I'm only working out 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes 3 times a week, and maybe 60 minutes on the weekend, and that's it. I try to get in some yoga, I go hiking. But anyway, enough of me. I would say thumbs down for the OMD, thumbs up for free FMD. Try to plan out what you're going to do with vegetarianism or keto or paleo or Ornish's diet, but just have a plan. If you can't have a plan, then get a team together. And if you can't find a team, come see me. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of insight. You can try the OMD yourself, but if any of you have comments on, you agree with me, you disagree with me, go screw myself, or you want to hear some of my other hints, put them down below. I see you in the next tutorial.